Sources of the American Public, Part 1 and 2. It's pretty much on the American government. Not a political book, just how the government works. It's titled, What Went Wrong? The Clash Between Islam and the West in the Middle East. Enemy of the People. It's supposed to be an adaptation of Henrik Ibsen's book, Enemy of the People. But it's not. It's Arthur Miller's version of it, which is not what I wanted. I wanted Ibsen's version of Enemy of the People. Basically, what do you do when one man knows what's right and society doesn't? Thank you. This is my grandfather's copy of Serpico, as you can tell by the hardcover. And my grandfather collects newspaper articles about the actual book and their history. This is Eric Hoffer's book, Before the Sabbath. Eric Hoffer came highly recommended through the Mark Lipton website, and that's why I have a bunch of his books. All these books, by the way, are books that I have not read yet. This is my have not read yet, plan to read soon section. This is One Bullet Away, the making of a Marine Corps officer. Madhya, daughter of Iraq, one woman survival under Saddam Hussein. This book is Ibsen and Hitler, the playwright, the plagiarist, and the plot for the Third Reich. Pretty much how Hitler stole lots of his ideas from a playwright. So not only was he a mass murderer, he was a plagiarist. Fantastic. This book is none of your business, because it's mine. This is Profiles in Courage, John F. Kennedy. I only have this because they sent it to me by accident. Not that I'm not I'm a huge fan of Kennedy. I love the way he did not like Castro and was willing to do almost anything, even foolish things, to get rid of him. This is Case Closed. Lee Harvey Oswald and the Assassination of John F. Kennedy. Pretty much this is the anti-conspiracy book. There's actually another one of them out there right now. It's even bigger than this one. But this pretty much is dealing all the way with not only conspiracies, but the cult of the conspiracy theory. This book is Terrorism, The Guide to Events and Documents. On the cover there is a bombed-out street. It's not my favorite book on terrorism, but it does its job well. It lists different terrorist groups, about numbers that they have. I believe that's what it does. I haven't read it. I just skimmed through it. Their mission statement, where they're from, what their current gripe is, how many acts they've committed so far. This is The Federalist by Alexander Hamilton, James Madison, and John Jay. Edited and introduction and historical commentary by J.R. Poole. For all of you interested in the makings of this great country. Suggest you look in the back. Underboss by Peter Maas. Sammy Bogavano and the Story of Life of the Mafia. Sammy the Bull, of course, was the guy who put John Gotti away. He was also personally involved in the hit of John Gotti's boss. Who was also at the hit was Richard Kuklinski, as seen in the Iceman Confessions on HBO specials. This is In the Company of Heroes by Michael J. Durant. This was the helicopter pilot that was kidnapped in the movie Black Hawk Down, if you remember it correctly. There was one pilot that was kidnapped, and this is his story. This book came out in conjunction with Black Hawk Down. I don't know if it came out at the same time, but it's the same story. Killing Pablo. I'm the author of Black Hawk Down. I apparently have a lot of this author's books. It's not on purpose, I just have a lot of Mark Bowden books. It's just how it worked out. The Hunt for the World's Greatest Outlaw. This guy pretty much owned countries. This is Tom DeLay's book. No Retreat, No Surrender. One American's Fight. American Government, Structure and Process. Guests of the Ayatollah. Iranian hostage crushes the first battle in America's war with militant Islam. By Mark Bowden. In 1979, the Iranian regime took American hostages for 444 days. Americans did pretty much nothing until Ronald Reagan came into office, and the day he came into office, the hostages were released. Now, I got that book because I was reading Gary Sick's book, They All Fall Down, which is the inner workings of the Carter administration, what was going on a daily basis. This is the Anarchist Cookbook, some of you know. Bombs, explosives, surveillance tactics, and things like that. When I do eventually get enough money to move out to the Midwest, that is what I will do with my spare time. Yes, I will be making homemade weapons and shooting them at refrigerators, possibly with pictures of people I don't like on these refrigerators. But this is one of my hobbies. It's actually, I think it's illegal to build most of these things. This is my copy of Serpico. As you can tell, it's new and fresh, and it's got this nice, cool cover, as opposed to the other one, which just has this big, scary picture of Serpico on the cover. The book is called Scam, one of my favorite books, by the Reverend Jesse Lee Peterson. Also, if you're into this book, I also am in the middle of Shakedown, the true story of Jesse Jackson and his Fast. This book is subtitled How the Black Leadership Exploits Black America. The truth behind the Reverend Jesse Jerkson. the Reverend, if you want to call him that, Al. I'm worried about some white disc jockeys using some words that I may have been offended with Sharpton while my own community suffers with teenage pregnancy, drugs, and violence because I'm a tool. Plato's The Republic. I'm sorry, Al Sharpton. I know you refer to them as Greek homos. This is Infidel by Irian Hisri Ali. If you don't know what this is, I'm not going to tell you. This is Blue Blood, written by an NYPD police officer. Oh, I'm sorry, Al. Yes, I read books by police officers. Or stand up for, what is it you're doing these days? Hate crimes bill, that's right. People should pay more for their crimes because of the intent of the crime. So if they hated someone because of their race, they should spend more time in jail. Genius. Of course, you're against the death penalty, which would be a real hate crime initiative. That would stop any kind of crime. Thomas Harris's Hannibal. The Hitler Book. The secret dossier prepared for Stalin from the interrogations of Hitler's personal aides. Oh, isn't that nice? Don't he just look just completely relaxed? This is the Clinton Crock-Up. The boy president's life after the White House. Oh boy. Wonder what he's doing. Gideon's Spies. Stories of Israel's secret intelligence agency, the Mossad. This is the Terror Timeline, a year-by-year, day-by-day, minute-by-minute, comprehensive chronicle of the road to 9/11 and America's response by Paul Thompson and the Center for Cooperative Research, forwarded by Peter Lance. This is Cover-Up by Peter Lance. What the government is still hiding about the war on terror. It sounds like a conspiracy book, but it is not. It's just the failures about the 9/11 Commission, although I believe it is such. It could be, though. The thing with a lot of the 9/11 truthers is that they use facts that sound like, you know, it was an inside job, because there were fuck-ups in the intelligence agencies. But they like to use facts that a lot of people don't know about the intelligence agencies, and since they haven't heard about them, the first time they hear about them is from truthers. So when I bring them up these same truths, like the wall that Jamie Gorelick built between the FBI and the CIA so they couldn't share information to protect someone's rights, and that's why we didn't know what the right hand didn't know what the left hand was doing. And I sound like a truther, but I'm not, I assure you. I believe, you know, Lee Harvey Oswald assassinated John F. Kennedy, and Osama bin Laden did attack us on 9/11. End of story. And we didn't let it happen. I also don't believe that we let Pearl Harbor happen. I'm not an idiot. Letters from it. Yes, I'm going to buy the official story. I'm going to go to the store, and I'm going to look around. I'm going to look for Men's Health. I'm going to look for Playboy. I'm going to look for Hunks R Us. And then right there on the shelf is going to be the official story. And I'm going to buy it. Letters from America's Wars. These are letters from American soldiers back home. Gives you insight into their character and who these people were. These are letters from the front. History books. Europe, 1870 to 1914. 1914 to 1939. Handbooks to the Modern World. The United States, Volume 2. The Philosophy of Aristotle. Yes, Al Sharpton, those Greek homos. Green Berets, Jewish Army Special Forces in Southeast Asia, 1956 to 1975. Hillary's scheme inside the next Clinton's ruthless agenda to take the White House. This is Attacks by Field Marshal Erwin Rommel, otherwise known as the Desert Fox. True Believer by Eric Hoffer. Eric Hoffer, again, was recommended by, that's none of your business what that is. This is the Anarchist Handbook 2 by Robert Wells. I like the cover, and I like the novelty of the book. And again, when I do move out to the Midwest on my ranch, where I will do nothing but drink, fuck, and shoot things in my retirement age, this is what I will be doing with my spare time. Building 9mm submachine guns, building homemade shotguns. Probably, I don't know the legality of it, but the book is legal. As far as doing what is in the book, that's a whole other thing. I'm not planning on going out and hurting anyone, but this is in the genre, again, of the Catcher in the Rye style books that every future maniac has always had. Oh, crap. This is an interesting book. At Any Cost, How Al Gore Tried to Steal the Election by Bill Salmon, White House correspondent for the Washington Times. This is a copy of Ayn Rand's We the Living. This is another one of Frank Miller's novels, A Dame to Kill For. This is Gangs of New York, The Truth About Muhammad by Robert Spencer. Seriously, take a look into that. Or, if you're lazy, take a look into his book, The Politically Incorrect Guide to Islam.